What's happening, friends? Welcome back to Dynamo DeFi. My name is Patrick, and on this channel I talk about cryptocurrency, decentralized finance, and economics. In today's video, I'll be talking about the new economic upgrades to Chainlink. That's right, staking is finally coming for the Link token this year. In the video, I'll go through just how important Chainlink is for people who aren't familiar, the details of these new Chainlink economics, and then a bit about the implications of this on Chainlink in the future. And before I go any further, I want to emphasize that nothing I say in this video is financial advice, and I'm certainly not suggesting that you do or do not buy Link. You should still do your own research, of which this video can be an important part. Awesome. With that being said, let's get into the video. Chainlink announced this news about their tokenomics just yesterday, and you can see that they got a nice bump in their price, but they had already been trending upwards for a couple of days before that. And before I get into all the details of the new Chainlink economics, just as a refresher for people who might not be too familiar with Chainlink, Chainlink is the #1 oracle by far in the world of cryptocurrency, and it underpins almost every app that you've used in DeFi. So what exactly is an oracle? Well, imagine that you wanted to bring some sort of information that exists off-chain on-chain. Maybe you wanted to bring in the price of gold or of an equity, so that way you could have a mirrored asset on-chain. Or maybe you wanted to create some sort of insurance contract that was satisfied based on the weather or the results of something else. Well, you need a trusted source to bring that information from the real world onto the blockchain, because the Ethereum itself or Avalanche itself or Solana itself has no way of natively knowing that information. And so that's where oracles come in, and that's where Chainlink comes in. Chainlink is by far the largest oracle. Additionally, there's a lot of need to have trusted, reliable sources of prices for things that are on-chain. Imagine that you're a lending protocol like Aave. To determine whether users who are borrowing money get liquidated, you need a reliable source to verify what the price of different assets are, and that could be price pulling from multiple different dexes or exchanges. And Chainlink is that neutral third party that can provide trusted, reliable prices for various different assets. And that's not all they do. So like I said, one of their main use cases is price feeds, and this was their first use case, but that's just the beginning. Another thing they do is verifiable random numbers. So basically what that means is there's situations where you need a random number for something that is supposed to be, maybe it's gamified, or maybe it's a random mint, or maybe it's some other sort of function that requires some degree of luck or randomness. Well, how do people know that you're actually getting a random number, and how can you guarantee that that won't be somehow gamed? You can bring a verifiable random number from Chainlink, and my understanding, I'm not a developer myself, but my understanding is that getting a verifiable random number is actually quite a challenge. Another thing they do is proof of reserves. So they'll verify on or off-chain reserves for your favorite DeFi protocols. That way you know that they actually have the money that they say they do. And then finally, and this is something that is coming up, they have something called the cross-chain interoperability protocol, which basically allows developers to build cross-chain apps. So that way you could have a DEX on Avalanche where you send in a token, and then you get a token over on Ethereum. And that would be pretty huge and potentially one of the most game-changing applications in all of crypto, because that would transition us from a multi-chain world to a true cross-chain world where developers could build on whatever chain made the most sense for them, and then users wouldn't even need to know what chain was being used in the background. So that's just a few of the use cases of Chainlink. They're constantly adding new things, and like I said, it's integrated with thousands of DeFi apps. Almost everything you use uses Chainlink for price feeds, random numbers, and other sorts of uses. There is one problem. So historically, many people have, well, the Link token performed well, but many people have had concerns about the Link token because it didn't really have a use for retail. And that changes with these new upgrades to the Chainlink economics. So basically, they announced yesterday that Chainlink staking will be coming this year. And how exactly will this work? Well, nodes secure the Oracle network. So like a blockchain, the Oracle network has a series of nodes who will agree on these different price feeds and other sorts of uses. And then starting this year, those nodes will stake Link, which will be locked up to guarantee that they'll be providing their service, and the link will be slashed and rewards will be cut in the event that they misbehave. So basically, it's similar to how a blockchain works, right? Where a proof of stake blockchain, where you have to stake the tokens like AVAX to a different node, and that guarantees that the nodes behave. Link will work similarly. And this is really important because this means that users who hold Link, even retail customers, will be able to stake their Link and they'll get rewards from it. So that means that you'll actually be able to earn single-sided yield on your Link, just like you would with any layer 1 proof of stake token. Pretty game-changing for the Link token. And how exactly will this staking work? Well, like I said, users will be able to stake it to various different nodes, and the emissions are going to come primarily from 2 sources. So the first place they're going to come from is native token emissions. So not all the Link is in circulation yet. Some of it will be distributed over time to stakers, and also user service fees. And this is a big one. So people who use the Oracle services will pay a fee, and some of that will be directed towards stakers. So basically, as the network grows, if it grows and more people are paying fees, if you hold Link and you're staking it, your rewards will go up. Additionally, they have some other sources that they're expecting to come over time. One is the partner growth program, and one is the possibility of loss protection, but those seem to be a bit further in the future. And so when is this happening? Well, they're planning on the first rollout, which they're calling V0.1, later this year, and then they'll steadily add more features in a V1 and V2. And in this initial rollout, 25 million Link will be available for staking. And then a few months after that, they're planning to increase that to 75 million Link. And as far as I can tell, there isn't a timeline for how they would increase it in the future after that, or whether they would increase it. There you can see 25 million and 75 million. And so I think this is pretty big, and I think, this is maybe not getting the attention that it deserved. Maybe it's overshadowed by some of the news related to the Ethereum merge. But this basically, to me, elevates Link to be on a similar level of value to layer 1s, right? Because people will pay fees to use the Oracle services. Chainlink is constantly coming out with new Oracle services, and it already has that network effect because it's used by so many DeFi projects. And on top of that, you'll now be able to stake your Link token and actually earn the fees from all these different projects. So to me, this is pretty exciting. Granted, it's not enough to counter, in my view, a bear market if the entire market crashes, but long term, this makes Link pretty interesting from my point of view. And personally, I'm probably adding Link. I've used to hold it, but I'm going to start re-adding it as a long-term part of my portfolio. Otherwise, I would just say that this gives Link token a clear value case. Chainlink's everywhere. And so this solves sort of the main dilemma that a lot of people had with holding Link as far as I'm concerned. And that's all I've got to say about this Chainlink Economics upgrade. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. Are you excited for Chainlink staking yourself? And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. Till next time, this is Dynamo DeFi.